Hi, I'm Phil Siegel from Spruverse over here on the Greenstrawberry channel, having a little fun with the Fruitpack for the Starfury Mark I from Revell. If you have this kit in your stash, you're going to be glad you tuned in. Let's dive in. We're going to look at Uber detailing with the photo etch and the resin parts. But if you want the full build, go over to my channel, Spruverse, and build something. Let's dive in. So here's your sprues, and I can't believe I'm using the word sprue. Of course, I should be using it a lot more than I do, but anyway. Here are the fins that come with the kit. Now, they're not bad, but I think we can do better. And the engines and the cowlings for the engines, we've got some photo etch for. We've also got photo etch for the canopy here. For the cockpit, I should say, and these interesting wing parts here, we're going to be removing those and adding new ones. So that's sprue number one. Sprue number two is the larger engine cowlings here, and we've got some photo etch for those. Here are the guns I was talking about. We'll get a closer look at those, and we're going to be talking about that in some detail, but there's the Greenstrawberry part. So those are the two sprues that come with this kit. Not complicated. So it's really going to be about showcasing what Greenstrawberry have, because if you like what you see, and I hope you do, you'll go to Greenstrawberry and check out everything else that they've got over there, because they've got quite a bit of photo etch and detailing stuff that you can use. But I wanted to show you quickly a couple of things. This is the canopy that comes with the kit, and you can see it's that classic, it's that classic situation where it's just kind of a little thick. Look, here's your Greenstrawberry part here, and there it is, and this is the kind of thick thing. So we're going to go with the Greenstrawberry vacuform. Very cool, very cool. So let me dive in, and let me start by talking about the Fruitpack itself. So here it is. This is the box you get, and again, this is a Fruitpack. So you can buy everything as individual pieces, or you can get everything you need in a kit. And I have got the complete kit. When you open it up, you'll get everything in a nicely packed in a bag here. And you will also get your photo etch, and you'll get your canopy. When you pull everything out, you'll notice that it's on these, what I call sort of they're molding platforms. That's how they were molded. And so what you're going to do is you're going to be cutting these off the platform. And the way I recommend you do that is get yourself something like this. There that is. Now you can use it out of the blade, or you can use it in the handle. I prefer to use it in the handle so I don't take my fingers off. This is incredibly sharp, and it comes in various different sort of shapes and sizes, but it's a wonderful way to remove these from here. They're very soft, so it'll come off quite easily. And then when you've taken that off, we've got all this flashing here. Well, let me go here. There we go. We've got all this flashing that needs to be removed. So you're going to go ahead and clean all these up, and when you've cleaned all of these up, you will get something that looks like this. And the nice thing about this is, again, it's very well detailed. It's very well detailed, and it's very crisp. So it's going to take paint really well. And so this is what you get, and this is what happens when you've cleaned it all up. Now, in the interest of time and your sanity, I'm not going to show you how to remove parts from these sprues, but I will tell you that you must take your time and make sure that you really see and understand what they've done for you, because it's very important. They've actually marked where you're supposed to cut, and you can see it here. Let me put it down. We've got this line here, and that's your cut line. Not complicated. So you're going to go ahead and remove those, and again, I use my knife, and you're going to remove those on the line. So make sure you are absolutely sure you know where those lines are. You know, it's the old adage, right? Measure twice, cut once. Do the same here, but it's not complicated. Now, on top of that, you're going to you're going to get some very clear instructions. Very clear. We've got the canopy instructions. We've got the cockpit detail with seat belts. If you don't want to put someone in the seat and you want to use the seat belts, you can get some really lovely uber detail. And you can see you've got these wonderful details for the interior of the canopy to create the splines, and you've also got this wonderful part that will go on the outside of the frame, and that's very cool too. Lots of opportunity to detail out the kit, and that's very exciting. You get a set of masks too that they've included, and there it is. So let's turn our attention to the cockpit. Now, the Greenstrawberry Fruitpack includes some really nice detail for the exterior and the interior of the cockpit, but additionally they also have the Starfury pilots, which is here, and this is part 72034. So if you're going to put a Fruitpack together and you want a more detailed pilot, we'll paint him up and get him ready for install, and then we'll go ahead and we'll work on the details of the interior here, which has some wonderful surface detail. It has a control bar, and it also has some seat belts. So that's kind of cool. The other thing that I like about the Greenstrawberry cockpit interior that they give you is it has a little more dimensionality to it. Here in front of me, you've got the part that comes with the kit, and you've got the part that comes from Greenstrawberry. And you'll notice one key difference immediately is the chair is separate. Now, the reason why they did that is to give you some depth. So that's fun. The only other thing I want to say before I jump in is make absolutely sure that you are looking at exactly where you need to cut your pieces, and what's flash and what isn't. And as long as you follow the directions that are given to you by Greenstrawberry, and they give you wonderful clear directions in all of the boxes, these are the directions for your pilots. And as long as you are doing that, you're going to be fine, because they indicate very clearly what needs to be removed and what needs to stay. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. So here it is in all its splendor and glory, and we've got all the details in there. So that's fun. Okay, so now the next thing I have to do is I've got to go ahead and install it in the front of this cockpit, and then I'll have to mask it up to protect it. But it has to go in before I can move any further, because it's going to sit flush in this part, and then it's going to live in the lower section of the wings here. And so I can't assemble any more until that's together. And then of course we've got this wonderful frame piece that's going to hide that ugly seam, and that's just going to drop down over it. I will glue that on, and that's going to look like that, and that is really going to finish that off nicely. So we're at a point now where we're going to have to start doing some rather tricky things. Now, I'm going to leave this photo etch this color. I am not going to paint it. I like it. I think it looks very industrial and kind of cool. You choose to do yours however you want. But you can see now, once the canopy goes on here, that really adds a lovely sort of reflective nature to it, and I'm sort of liking that, and that's fun. I mean, the point of all of this is for you to have fun, and and do it the way you would like to do it, and you'll come up with something really cool. So we've got some photo etch we need to install on the inside of this glass, which we'll tackle. But we also now need to actually install guns, which we can't do until we've painted them. I've gone ahead and joined the guns together. Those were the parts we just cut. That's simple enough. And they need to be attached, but they can't be attached until they're painted. So I'm going to hit these with some matte black, and then I'm going to dry brush them. And I'm going to do that for all of them. But this next segment I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to tackle the challenge of getting these engines detailed out. Now, the engine itself, when you look at it, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. So if you chose not to actually go ahead and do what I'm about to do, that would be perfectly fine, and you'd have a great model. But the point of ordering these fruit packs is to go ahead and use them to uber detail your project. And so that's why we're going to go ahead and tackle these. Now, in the instructions that come from Greenstrawberry, you can see from the call out here. Of course, it would help if you could see the call out. Here's the call out. In red are your instructions for things like remove, a choice, opposite side, bend, drill, grind, fill, or it's a photo etch part indicating a photo etch part, a resin part, a decal, or a mask. And so those are a lot of the options that you'll get in fruit packs. And so it's telling you exactly what you need to do. What we need to do in this setup is we need to go ahead and remove the tips of these engine cones. Now, when you flip over, you'll see that there is another one that has to be removed. The reason why we'll know which one we're doing first is because this one is the larger cone, and we can tell that because it's got this fin that we're going to remove and replace with another uber detailed part, which will really make that pop. But step one is to go ahead and remove the tips of these cones on the smaller part. So here is the part that came with the kit. That's here. And what it is asking us to do, it's asking us to go ahead and remove the tip of this cone. So we're going to have to remove that. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do it. I would recommend that if you don't have a clear ability to cut it, and we don't here, that you either carefully remove the outer surface with a hobby knife, go slowly, and then sand that to a flat surface, or you can use a sanding belt and take it down. But you better, if you're going to use a sanding belt, be absolutely sure you understand what you're doing and have done that before. So I recommend that what we do is we're just going to go ahead and cut this away. And we're also going to be removing the interior of this part as well. So in essence, we're going to end up with a hole. And then what's going to happen is we're going to take the part that comes with the kit, which is this part, which is going to replace that cone, and it's going to add some depth, and it's also going to add some super detail as we put the photo etch on. So step one is to go ahead and remove this. And I'll start here on camera. Let me now make sure you've got a fresh blade. Do not do this with a dull blade. And be very, very careful. Take your time. But you can see this is quite soft. And I'm just going to slowly start removing this. And it's coming off quite easily. So I wanted you to see that it does come off quite easily. But take your time and make sure that you've got a very, very sharp blade. Okay? So let me go ahead and do this. And then I will show you what this looks like once I've got these all taken down. And I'm going to take these obviously down as far as I can go. I only need to take these down to the top of the cone. And you just go around and you just slowly keep doing this. Just keep doing it. And you will be there. It's quite soft, but again, very, very sharp knife, and take your time. And when you get to about that point, you will be able to actually sand that. So, you know, you just get your sort of whatever you're going to use to sand. You can put a piece on a flat surface and do it. It doesn't really matter. But this is just as easy. And you want to just get this flat. You want to make sure that you've got a very flat surface, because what you're going to want to do is make sure that your new cone sits on there flush, and this one does. This sits on there beautifully. So we get two results with this. We get this lovely new ridge detail, and we're going to get all this uber detailing from the photo etch. So I need to go ahead and do that 4 times, and then we'll go to the next step. So I'm going to go ahead now and put one of these together for you so you can see the process. So step one is you want to take the smaller of your rings that we cut out earlier, and if you recall, this is the part that came with the kit. It's the smaller of the rings. Here it is. And what we're going to do is we're going to put photo etch part number 7 behind it. Now I've cut mine out and I've cleaned it, and it's going to sit behind the cone. So let's go ahead and do that. You're going to just drop this down onto the part. And then you're going to take part number 2, and that's got 1,000,000 splines. So be very careful, because you don't want to bend these, and you don't want to spend too much time messing with them, because these little splines will snap on you, and then you'll be in a world of hurt. So take your time and go around and take these off. Now, if you've got Xeron nippers or photo etch nippers, I would highly recommend you use them. Could you sit this down on a hard surface and go around and cut them? Absolutely. But I just find this to be a lot cleaner, and I don't have any trouble doing it. Okay? So there's your part, and it's going to slip over this cone. So what we're going to do is we're going to just take a little toothpick, and some glue, some of our CA, and we're just going to put a little dab around the base of our part, like this. Like that. And then we're going to take part number 2 of our etch, and we're going to slide that over the top, just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bend these splines up towards us, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and let's get that blown out. So now we've got photo etch that needs to sit on here, and that photo etch is here. And again, you just go around with your nippers, and there is a tab. You can see it. It's at the end closest to the actual frame. Just get snug up to it. The nice thing about the photo etch parts is that you always have a little working tab, which is the place where it's an indicator where you can cut. It's an indicator for a bend. It's an indicator for something other than just you having nothing to guide you. So it's very, very, very helpful. And again, take your time and be careful. Be very careful, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to bend these until you absolutely are ready to. Okay. Okay. So there's your detail part. And then there's the smaller part that goes in the center of the engine bell. And that's right here. And we can just go ahead and remove these little tabs. And if you see anything you don't like after that, just go ahead and take your file and just carefully remove anything so it feels flush. You don't have to be too particular because this is not a visible part, but I like to be clean. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this center. Now what I have is I have my Proxon here, and I'm using a conical drill bit that has it's called diamond grade, so it's got these little chips on it. You can feel how rough it is, but what I love about this is in the Proxon it doesn't overheat the plastic. It'll do a certain amount of sort of burning through the plastic, but it doesn't wrap itself around your bit. And I'll show you what I mean. I put this in, and it's the exact size, which is like really lucky. And I actually use the melting to my advantage because with the softer plastic, it makes it a lot easier to trim these out. It stays relatively centered, which is what I like. And you're through. And then you just clean this up. While the plastic is still relatively soft, you just clean it up like that, and that gives you your hole. And then if you've got a round file in your collection, just go ahead and just give that a little bit of a cleanup. And then what I like to do is get myself some Tamiya Extra Thin, and I use the Tamiya Extra Thin to melt off any little fragments that didn't come loose. It's a great way to clean up your plastic parts after you've done this. So then the next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to glue down your centerpiece, and you want to lay down on top of that your ribs. Let me get some tweezers here so I don't fight with this. So you lay down your centerpiece, and then you're going to lay down your rib on top of that and get it all centered. Like that. You're going to glue down then your top on top of that. And then just as we did with the other one, you're going to pull your splines upwards towards this rib here. And I'll show you this. Because each one of these spines has a little indent on it, and when you bend it up and push it down towards that rib, it will organically just sit down in there perfectly. So that's what you're going to do. And you need to do that 4 times, and you'll end up with something like this. Now, the finishing touch on this are these side ribs. So right here. And I use just some regular nippers. And then clean it up with your knife. Just get it flush. If you need to hit it with a little bit of sandpaper or a file, you can. But you're just trying to get that flush. Like that. And what that's going to allow you to do is then take your detail part, and you're going to take your detail part here, get your flash off the back, and that's going to lie down on those on both sides, and you'll end up with something like this. and that's your extra piece of detail that comes in the kit. Very cool. It's time to add the lower wing section. And what I found is when you use the aftermarket piece from Greenstrawberry, you're going to need to do just a little bit of grinding on the inside here, just to get that a little snugger. And then you'll find it drops in quite beautifully. It sits very nicely onto the kit. So that's what we're going to do now, is just go ahead and install this piece. Once we've done that, we can go ahead and put the lower wing mounts on, and they'll go on like that, and they sit quite nicely. I want to now go ahead and remove the canopy masks. These are the masks that are provided with the Fruitpack. That's very nice. Very nice. How wonderful this detail it is. It's really coming together. Okay, well, we're down to the finals here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to mask off my cockpit again and dust everything in the black, and then we're going to come back and set up to hit it with our insignia white, because I like that. You've got these wonderful panels, and we could just tape some of those off and hit them with different grays, and then we can hit our insignia white to pull that back if we want to, and that should create some really nice shading. So we've got a little bit of painting to do now, but that's okay. We're down to the final stretch, and we've got a few more details to work out as well. But I'm really happy with how this is coming together. It's a lot of fun. So we've put all the plating on we're going to put on. Now we're going to hit it with our insignia white, and this is actually a fun part of the process, because this is where you'll start to see this ship come alive. And these wonderful veins go on the rear, and they make up this wonderful detail for the rear, and the large ones are for your top, and we'll go ahead and put the small ones on the bottom. And that So there you have it. Uber detailing the Starfury from Revell. Definitely worth it. If you have this kit, go over to Greenstrawberry and check out all of their fruit packs. But this was great fun, and I really appreciate them giving me an opportunity to show you how all of those fantastic photo etch and resin detail parts can really accentuate your build, from the guns to the engines to the cockpit and even your wing separators. Definitely worth it. Hey, thanks for checking us out, and I'll see you again on the Greenstrawberry channel. Take care, everybody.